Hello, everyone. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Just can't hear you.
Yes.
Thank you all for joining today. We have a training on how to use email and text messaging in your marketing strategy, your digital marketing strategy. All right, so without further ado, I am going to turn it over to CEO Coach Mike and super producer Jay Joseph. They will be directing this training. I hope you guys enjoy. Just say something, please. Okay.
All right. Hello? Okay. They said they can hear me. Okay. Well, we thank you for attending the training. We're just making sure that we can hear everybody on. Yeah. Am I doing?
Can you share your screen, Jess? I made you the host. There we go.
All right, can you all see my screen there?
Yes.
All right, today's training, how to use email and text messages in your digital marketing strategy. So last week, we covered how to use flyers in your digital marketing. And one of the questions that came up was, how do we do distribution? You know, how does it go as far as distribution? So we're going to talk about that today. And one of the best ways when it comes to your flyers and any type of material that you're wanting to get out to your sphere of influence and your contacts is definitely going to be email, okay, and text messaging. So email newsletters are one of the most common and popular email marketing. One of the most common and popular email marketing campaigns are email newsletters. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay, let me switch it over to present mode in Zoom. Okay, I got what you mean. Gotcha. All right, perfect. All right, when it comes to email marketing, you know, having your email newsletter can be very useful, okay, in the process. Let's move to the next one. Oh, right. So just covering the first two things that we're going to be talking about. We talked about email and as well as text messaging. We'll double back through the process of it. What is text message, SMS message marketing? Okay. SMS marketing is a good way for businesses to get their audience's attention by communicating with customers the way they want you to. As we know, text messaging is very convenient. Okay, the next point here is your business is more likely to see engagement and get a response through text message marketing. Okay. SMS marketing is also cost effective and easy to set up. And how many of you all get text messages from different companies and that you may have signed up with, or maybe have even received a text message from us? Just raise your hand or put it in the comments. All right, let's go back to the email marketing and discuss what exactly is an email newsletter. Okay, an email newsletter is an email that is sent to your clientele regularly to keep them informed about the latest news and updates about your brand. So anything that may be going on in your business, maybe you've added a new member to your team, or maybe you just sold a new home, something that you want to just announce to your sphere. This is a great way to do that in a newsletter. Even if you want to educate your clientele on something, maybe it's renovating their house before they sell. This is a great platform and a way for you to get that information distributed to them. Okay. Depending on the kind of content you have to share and the frequency in which clients expect your newsletter, you can send them on a weekly or monthly basis. So it's up to you and how frequently it is that you distribute your newsletter. Maybe you have a routine or something that you do consistently within your business, then you can use the newsletter as a way to inform them. Kind of like when you get those neighborhood newsletters from your HOA or something like that. Mike, do you have anything that you want to chime on? Okay. And I know that even here, I know Mr. Brooks, he uses a newsletter quite often when it comes to promoting his business. I don't know if you've seen it when it comes to his brand, Pure Hustle. I know that we can get those newsletters on a consistent basis using certain platforms like Constant Contact. All right, the next slide here. How do I create a campaign email? Step one, define your goals. Okay. Ask yourself, what are you trying to accomplish? We discussed this last week when we were discussing the design of your flyer or what your marketing message was. Is thinking ahead, knowing that you have to be, you have to put that intent behind it when it comes to creating your marketing message. So thinking it through, what are you trying to accomplish? Are you promoting a new product or service? Do I want to increase my audience engagement? Am I driving attention to a particular property or area? So these are just some things that you can use as pointers to get you thinking about, okay, what exactly is the point of this campaign? Why am I creating this campaign? Do we have any questions when it comes to email marketing or creating a campaign? Okay.
All right, Jess. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, yeah, man. Them technical audio connections wasn't working, gang. So that's why it took me a while to jump on this thing. Ain't gonna be leaving Jess out there on her own on an island. But there was some things that I wanted to comment on, Jess, on some of the other slides, and it had to do with the text message marketing and the importance of the text message marketing. Because the reality is with emails, we would get satisfied with open rates being low. So say, 1%, 2%, 3% open rate, like you're not going to get a large open rate. I know, like even with us, when we began measuring our open rates, and we'll go into detail as we continue through the presentation, we were happy if we got 12% of the emails open. Well, the thing about text messaging, and you all know this, text messaging has close to 100% open rate. They even have it right now to where you ain't even got to open a text message. It'll just automatically pop up on somebody's screen on their phone. So the text message marketing putting yourself in front of people via their smartphones and using text messaging is extremely powerful. So as we go through today's training, you guys make sure you definitely take notes, take really, really, really good notes, because we want you to begin implementing these things in your business, because it'll really help your business explode. So I wanted to comment on that, Jess, but you can keep going.
Let me see if I can get back to the slide. Apologize. All right, define your goals. How do we create campaigns? All right. Step 2, define. Go ahead.
Well, we're going to go back to define your goal. All right. So, I think this just kind of goes back to what we talked about last week when coming up with the flyer, when we talked about the design of the flyers, and we really encourage everybody to go back to the YouTube channel and check out last week's, because we're going to be using a lot of those techniques and strategies when putting together email campaigns as well. Because when it comes to email campaigns, it's the platform, utilizing the particular platform to get that, whether that's that flyer or whether that's the newsletter or however you want to do it. I take it back to a story when Mr. Brooks and myself first got into this business, and we first decided that we wanted to engage with people on a regular basis. This is before you had Constant Contact and some of these other softwares, when all you had was Yahoo, Gmail, AOL, that's all you had. Hotmail, that's what you had. And there was a time where I found out about Constant Contact before Mr. Brooks found out about it. And what he would do is that when he was out meeting people, he would capture their email addresses, and then he would just put them inside of his Yahoo account, and he would send out 300 emails using just the to field in the email account. And he may send out 3 or 4 different sets of emails with 400 or 300 emails in it and back then those email accounts like Yahoo, they had limits on how many people that you could send it to at one time. So it was a lot of bugs and a lot of issues. So, that was the dark ages of email marketing campaigning. But even then it worked, because it was a way of consistently engaging with people. So when looking at step 1 and looking to define your goals, it's very important that you take the time to identify why is it that you're going to do this. Because especially when it comes to email marketing and text marketing, knowing what your goal is key. But also, and the reason that it is key is because you have to be consistent for it to work. Consistency is important. So you have to have a strong enough goal or a strong enough why of why you're doing it. So it makes it easier to be consistent with doing it. So that's extremely important as well when it comes to defining your goals.
Absolutely. Any questions about defining your goals?
And make sure you guys put your questions in the comment. Y'all can put your questions in the chat, or you can just unmute yourself and just start talking. It doesn't necessarily have to be a lecture. This one doesn't have to be. We got a lot of content and a lot of information that we're going to give you because we're good at this. But we definitely want to field your questions as well. So it could be a conversation too.
Okay. Step 2, define your offer. What's in it for the consumer? Right? How will you incentivize them once they complete the desired action? Okay, so once you've given them their call to action, then secondly, think about your customers' want and focus on providing value to them.
Yeah.
So on top of you defining your goal, then go ahead, Mike.
Well, so, just speak to, because, you've done a lot of, putting together email campaigns for Brooks and Davis. Kind of speak a little bit about your experiences when coming up with goals or coming up with the offerings that, we're sending out to the customer base. How do you typically approach it?
That's a good question. I'm trying to pack it all together. You just hit me with a lot of it. But it just goes back to, like you said, as far as defining the goal, what's the whole point of you sending out the message? Who is your target? What is it that you're wanting from them, and finding the best way to attract them. So
when we would do
incentivizing
it,
them.
when we were doing it, just what were our goals as a company when we were sending out email marketing to customers or even to agents? Like what were some of the goals that we were looking to achieve? You recall?
I'm getting them to attend events. We want them to the RSVP. Going to check out our website. It's directing them to the website to get more information. So it's having that funnel, knowing where to send them. What else do we have? Checking out social media, just engaging with us and joining our culture, our ecosystem, getting tied in to what it is that we offer. So those are some things that we would use as headliners or titles or goals.
Yeah, to define our goals. And then even, as I speak to, we currently have a newsletter that we're still sending out called The Real Evolution. The goal when we first created that, and we created that many moons ago, the goal was really at that time have some vehicle in place to where we could consistently stay in front of a group of people. So as we built the email database up within Constant Contact, as I was out, as Larry was out, we were meeting people, we were getting people's contact information, and we were just adding them to the Constant Contact. We wanted to have something that we sent out on a regular basis that people could look forward to. So even when we designed the Revolution, and as we go through this training, I'm going to continue to revert back to that, and we'll show it to you as well before we finish the training. As we were thinking about designing it, one of the things that we felt was attractive to people was real estate information. So we had an article piece on it. We felt what was attractive to people was things that we were doing in the community, which is something that we still continue to do today. And then it, like Jess said earlier, driving people to our social media platforms so they can engage with us in other areas. So we really sat out and put some thought through, what our goals were going to be, and then looked at, defining your offer, encouraging people to a particular call to action, right? So if I am trying to drive you to go to my YouTube channel, well, what am I going to offer you for taking action? Like, how am I going to reward you for that? Like, maybe that's you'll be entered into a drawing. Maybe that's you'll get a scratch off. Scratch off's real cheap, right? $1, right? Do this for me and I give you this $1 scratch off. Maybe it's you'll be invited to a VIP event that you're hosting. You can get as creative as you want, but keep in mind, in marketing, if you're going to have a call to action, meaning that you're going to want to have people go do something, then you're going to have to incentivize them to go do that desired action, because people aren't just, they're not just going to do what you ask them to do. Like, that's just not what's going to happen. So you got to put some thought into this second step right here when you're thinking about the offer that you're going to give to people when it comes to your marketing and your email and text marketing.
And you see that with a lot of realtors. Maybe they'll do a ebook or even some type of list, or maybe it's like, something that they can get some value from. So you'll see a lot of people, they sign up for this, my newsletter, and you'll get a free ebook or a free instructional on how to do this. So definitely,
and there's
think
content
that through for sure.
Yeah, and there's content all over the web, right? So you don't necessarily have to come up and write an ebook. There are people out there that will sell you the rights to their content and their information, and they'll let you white label it. Those options are out there as well, which is something that, again, giving people access to information or content that they can't get access to by signing up for your newsletter is definitely something that other agents do, and it's proven. It's a proven strategy.
And exclusive content. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of people doing it with the Patreon, just you know, signing up. That's just subscribing to what it is that you have tying in. You get exclusive content versus what you offer to your general public. So it may be something that you're offering more on an exclusive basis to maybe consulting or something to your clients, or some type of membership. All right, step 3, build your targeted email and text list, right? Who is your desired audience? Right. Different types of email and text, right? Different types of email and text message, text campaign softwares for beginners. So these are a list of resources that you can use when it comes to text message and email marketing.
Yeah, and you know what's really key, I was actually saying this morning in a coaching session. You can have all of this stuff set up. Like you can have the best software, you know, you can have the best newsletter, and it's got all the bells and whistles, and it's nice and very attractive. But if you're not out there constantly adding people to the list, to your audience, if you're not growing your audience, then it's not going to help you, right? These elements that we're talking about here, marketing, they're here to help you operate more efficiently, right? They're here to help you engage and nurture with your audience. But these are not the kind of activities that help you build audience. Like you have to go out and hit the streets. You have to go out and meet people. When Brooks and I got our constant contact up from 200 people to, at one point we were close to 30,000 people on our email list. Well, it grew. That didn't just happen organically. That happened us going out, meeting people, adding people to the list, going out to networking events, attending different things, making phone calls, putting in, getting clients. That came from us doing activities and work, going out there and bringing the people. So as you build your targeted email or targeted text list, that's going to come from the activities of you all as real estate professionals going out and attracting business and meeting people, getting business cards. This right here is just a bucket for you to put those people so you can constantly engage with them on a deeper level. So that building your email audience and text audience is huge if you're gonna continue to build and grow your business.
Absolutely. And I know that we use Constant Contact. We've used MailChimp and CallFire for text messaging. We've used Easy Texting as well, I believe.
Yeah.
Is one of our. Yeah.
But I mean, to be honest with you, man, find you one and just go with it, right? I typically, I encourage MailChimp because I believe with MailChimp, you get up to 2,000 emails without having to pay. But you're limited with as far as like the templates and things that you have access to. Constant Contact, I in my opinion, is more robust, gives you more options as it relates to the templates. And matter of fact, Jess, you can speak to that because you've worked within both Constant Contact and MailChimp. What's your feedback as it relates between those two?
Honestly, it would just be the limitations on how many I can send out in regards to me, because I'm pretty flexible as far as systems and using it. And like you said, the templates are always good. So I'll take a good template and use that and put my own twist to it. But like you said, I think MailChimp though has limitations on how many people you can add to your contact list for a free account.
Yeah.
So I prefer, I guess, the Constant Contact that it offers a little bit more.
Yeah. Okay.
In that manner. All right. Step 4, consider different email campaign types. Okay. You have your welcome series, It's an email sent to new subscribers when they sign up for your blog or emails or other website content. All right, so that's something that you'll send out as soon as they sign on, they subscribe and buy into what it is that you're offering, or they want to know more about you. They sign up, you have something that's sending out a welcome email to them immediately. Something that you may have seen on when it comes to social media or in the chat boxes, like on Facebook, it may show you the response time of a business or of a person. So that's something that when it comes to marketing that they find very important to people is your response time, or how active are you? You can say that when you go to a Facebook group or a Facebook page, before you join, maybe you want to see how, or is anyone even posting in this, or do they even, put content out? So to be able to subscribe to what it is that you offer and to know that, okay, I'm at least it's active. It's not just something I'm just giving my information, don't know where it's going. You have something going to that person saying welcome, and maybe even giving them an idea of what it is to come. When it comes to your newsletter.
Yeah, and that goes into what I said earlier, Jess, about consistency. Just because, and I like you use that example of a Facebook group. There are plenty of Facebook groups out there that there's been no activity in that group. So you definitely don't want to build an email campaign. You're adding people to it, but they're never getting anything. They're never receiving anything digitally from you. So just like with the welcome series, that's just the initial email of what should be a consistent flow of engagement email wise for the people that you placed in this bucket.
Awesome. And then we have the re-engagement campaigns, okay? A set of email messages sent to contacts who were once active, who have since stopped engaging, to try and bring them back into the fold. Okay, so you will have those that you may see unsubscribe, or like what Mr. Davis said, whatever it is that you're, well, we're going to keep it on the groups, but as you see there may be engagement decrease, you want to pay attention to that, who's unsubscribing, and see how it is that maybe you can re-engage, or even look at your strategy. Am I sending out this email too often? Am I annoying people? Is that playing a part in the decrease of engagement? But if you set up the emails sent, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, and I think that's where your analytics and things come in these softwares as well. It's like you definitely want to pay attention to see what your open rate is. Like how many people are opening the email, how many people are clicking through. If you have your links to where you're forwarding people and sending them somewhere else, maybe to your Instagram, or maybe to your Facebook group, or maybe to your YouTube channel, or maybe to your website. Like you have links in there that are directing people. These softwares will keep track of what your click-through percentages are. So you look at those numbers, and ideally your goal should be to try to increase those numbers. So these re-engagement campaigns, it may not necessarily be for the people that have unsubscribed. It may be for try to get more people to open the email. Maybe you need to look at what your headline is your subject line is in the email. It may be you want to encourage more people to click this particular link. Well, now try different messaging in your emails as a way to encourage or influence your audience, your email audience, to click this particular link. So these re-engagement campaigns, I think, really is all about looking at the numbers and the analytics and thinking through what are some ways that I can, trial and error as far as my messaging and my verbiage that I could implement to increase these things. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Next, we have post-purchase campaigns. Okay, this is going to be where the emails are sent to customers who have recently made a purchase. So say you've just closed on a home, and you want to go ahead and send them a post-purchase campaign, thanking them, congratulating them, thanking them for using your services, trusting, maybe asking in so many words for referrals. This is a great way to do this. You want to have something that you're sending during the welcome, the re-engagement, and post-purchase after they've done business with you. It's just a great way for us. It shows customer service as well. And again, just being consistent and engaging with your audience. There are several different types of post-purchase email campaigns. There's a good opportunity to highlight similar offerings or ask your customer to engage with you on social media. Okay.
So yeah, I think right here, Jess, is a good email, because you don't want to just be a transactional agent. And what that means is you have a client, you help them, you close, and then they don't hear from you no more. Like, you don't want that. Like, you want to be a relationship agent. So again, email marketing and text marketing is a great way to consistently engage. So these post-purchase campaigns are a way for you to stay connected to your client. So when they have friends or family that's looking, it's easy for them to refer you because they get these emails, they get this correspondence from you all the time. They ain't got to try to find you. When they're ready for their next real estate move, it's easy for them to re-engage and contact you, because again, on a consistent basis, you've been engaging them. When it comes to the post-purchase campaigns, you just got to make sure that you're giving them off information and content that's still relevant to where they are. I mean, if they purchased a home, then now home maintenance information is a great way to stay engaged with them. Reminding them when they need to get their HVAC service, reminding them, hey, you need to change your filters. Hey, get a soaker hose so you can go out there and water your foundation, because in Texas is hard on foundations. So, sending them emails, maybe once a quarter, change your filter out. Twice a year, service your HVAC because the season's about to change. Reaching out to them when the winter's about to begin, reaching out to them about, wrapping their pipes so the pipes don't freeze. Like, those are opportunities that you can utilize in a post-purchase email campaign to continually stay re-engaged with your clients. And again, as you build social media, we're not, that isn't this conversation. We're going to have other talks or trainings where we talk about social media. But as you build your social media, again, that's another way to engage even on a daily basis, right? Because you're not going to be sending emails to people on a daily basis. But if you can get them through your email marketing to go and connect with you on social media, now you have them in a place to where they can see you daily. And it enhances your connection with your people and with more people. So
the same with seasonal campaigns, email promotions sent out at a certain time of year, such as birthday seasons and holidays in your email campaigns. So, we encourage you to have a CRM, or Mr. Davis, he says, at least have a spreadsheet where you're keeping in contact with or at least you have a roster of your clients. Maybe you'll have data of their birthdays. You want to make sure that you have that in your client relationship management system, your CRM, so that you can keep up with things like their birthdays. That's something that's very useful, and to know that you think about them on those important days is very important and something that you can utilize within your campaigns. Offering different type of tips or during the holidays when it comes or during the season, like Mr. Davis said, those are the type of information that you can send out in your campaigns. Anything to add for seasonal campaigns today?
Just to kind of give my 2 cents on it. I'm a against the grain type of person. I feel like the seasonal emails can get kind of saturated from multiple places, not just realtors. Like say, like the 4th of July, a person may get a whole bunch of emails from different companies talking about the 4th of July or Christmas, right? So you really want to, when it comes to the seasonal campaigns, maybe think about holidays that are not necessarily as saturated. And think about, I don't know, President's Day. Like, President's Day ain't really, a bunch of realtors ain't really sending out stuff on President's Day. Or think about what I would say Labor Day. Maybe like, so think about maybe some of the holidays that aren't as prevalent. Or what you can do is think about culture wise, right? Like there's, Houston is very diverse. So, say, Chinese New Year, right? That's something that that you could maybe kind of differentiate yourself for people within that culture that respond to that, but also people outside of that culture that's familiar with it. Maybe they can get more curious about it. Maybe you're educating other cultures around, this particular holiday. So doing things like that is creative, and it allows people, it makes people curious to where they're going to pay more attention to you. Don't get lost in the fold of just doing what everybody else is doing, because you'll be forgettable, and you don't want to be forgettable. So
That's good. Follow 5. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. That was it.
Oh, it's like you're about to say something. All right, follow the 5 T's. All right. Tease. Use your subject line to tease the email content inside, but make sure you can deliver on the promise. All right, so that's that subject line of how important it is. Put in that thought and that intention behind that to know it's only leading them there to the next phase of that email, which is that body. You want to appeal to them.
So yeah, I mean that's key. We need everybody to understand that the subject line is what gets them to open the email. If your subject line is weak, then you've wasted your time. You can have a bomb email, you can have bomb content in the email, but if your subject line is too weak to where people aren't opening it, then it defeats the purpose. So yeah, you definitely gotta make sure that your subject line is enticing enough. The whole point of the subject line, all it is designed to do is to get the person to open your email. Like, that's it.
After you tease them, the target, it's simple. The more personalized a communication is, the better it will perform. All right, keep it simple and targeted and personalized. Yeah. So what would you say, Mike? So like, I don't know, I've seen some people do attention realtors, but I think that can be,
Yeah.
I mean, it's targeted.
I know what you're saying.
Right.
I think the best way to target people is to identify the pain point.
Pain point, right?
Yeah. Identify the pain point in that category, and then use that pain point as a way to attract them. Right? Especially if what you're providing is a solution to that pain point.
Absolutely. All right. Teach. Suggest learning tips and tricks to make our lives easier, and that's where your brand comes in. It's kind of like you said, the pain point. If you can offer some tips and tricks cater to their pain point on how you can make their life easier, especially if someone's struggling or stressed or having issues or feeling overwhelmed. If you can be that solution, if your brand can come in and be that solution to their issue of feeling overwhelmed with purchasing a home, and your subject line speaks to them and it's personalized to them, and you're giving them tips and tricks, and you're already providing a certain level of value just within the first, maybe within your subject line.
Yeah, absolutely. It's as real estate professionals, buyers, they have pain points. Speak to those. People thinking about selling. You got to start with what people are thinking about, right? I'm before a person buys a house, they probably thought about it for, if not 1 to 2 years. They've had conversations about buying a house. Before a person sells their house, they've had conversations and they've had thoughts about and considerations around selling that house for years. So when you create your email campaign and you create your content, you want to speak to people that are thinking about buying. You want content that attracts people thinking about buying. You want content that attracts people that are thinking about selling. And then as you continue to engage them and they continue to pay attention to you, when they're ready to pull that trigger, who you think they're gonna call, right? This is the long game. What we're talking about is the long game. This isn't send out one email and then get the phone ringing with all these clients. Like, that's not how this works. It happens over time.
All right, perfect. Test is the next T. Why pick one subject line or image when you can test 3? All right. Something that I know Constant Contact offers is the ability to test your subject line. You may want to take a small test group of your contacts and just see how they're responding to your subject line. See which one gets the best traction or interaction before you send it out to the masses. And then it's just testing your, I guess, your skill as well when it comes to creating your subject lines and how people are responding and how your audience responds. All right. The last T is track. This one is a no-brainer, but in a campaign where success should be measured, by engagement and not revenue. So your analytics, and keeping up with who's opening, who's not opening, what's going, are my campaigns effective? And I know, Mr. Davis, you're big. I learned quite a bit about that when it comes to tracking your campaigns from you. Could you speak to that?
Yeah, absolutely. Because where it says, it's a no-brainer, success should be measured by engagement and not revenue. Engagement should lead to revenue, right? At the end of the day, we're doing what we're doing to help us create and generate more revenue so we can make more money. So that means, in theory, the more engagement, the more people are engaging with you as a brand, as a person, as a realtor, the more engagement that you're having, the more revenue you should be able to see. So through this tracking piece, you got to be able to track your engagement as well as track your revenue to correlate that what's happening here on this digital space is ultimately leading to you making more money on this real space, this earthly space, right? So it all must connect. And if it doesn't, and if you're not approaching it like that, if all you are is just approaching it to get a whole bunch of likes, a whole bunch of views, and it's not translating over to you making more money, then really you're just wasting your time.
So follow the 5 T's.
So, hey, Jess, before we go to step 5, because I believe it's eight steps that we're talking through. So we're about halfway through the training today. I definitely want to open it up for any questions. Anybody have any questions or any discussion prior to us showing the next 4 steps? No. Anybody inside the coaching and training center that has any questions or comments?
No questions, they say. I can email a copy.
Okay. All right, perfect. Okay, let's keep it going, Jess.
Step 5, choose your subject line and write your copy. All right. Choose subject lines that pique your audience interest. After all that work planning your email campaign, you want the people on the list to open it. All right. And so this is what we were talking about. Some of the tools that like Constant Contact offers is that you can use the A/B test, which is where you're testing your subject line to see which one works best. You're sending it to a small portion of your contact list, just like a little test group. So remember that catchy headlines and hooks and pain points are essential and very important when it comes to your subject lines.
Absolutely. And look, like I said in last week's training, like I presented that book on advertising and had those headlines in there. You don't have to figure this stuff out. Like there's nothing new under the sun. Right? That's what the Bible say. There's nothing new under the sun. Don't feel like somebody ain't already sat down and compiled a list and did a study of headlines that are effective and that work. So, and if you guys need that information, like I said, we gave the name of the book and the author on last week. But we're in the information age. Like there's so many books that's written on the information that we're talking about. So I really encourage you guys to be out there reading books, right? Tapping into other people's knowledge and experience, and then utilizing it within your business.
Here's an example birthday message that you can use. Something that we do here for sure. You may have even received it from the office on your birthdays. We definitely want to, wish you well on that day. So here's something that you can also send to your contacts. Again, keeping up with that information in your client relationship manager, your CRM, so that you can make that contact, you can make that touch, they can be reminded about what it is that you do, what it is that you offer. And so when they get that email, it may even just based off of what's in there, maybe it's your subject line, maybe it's the end of your email where you have your social media links and they just want to click on it and see more. Now you've, taken them to the next step to say, oh, I do remember that so-and-so does real estate, or let me look and see what's been going on here lately. So it's just a nice way to make a touch and hopefully funnel them through to more of what it is that you're doing.
Yeah, and this was this is a takeaway from last Thursday. We had Chantel Froelich came in and gave some great strategies as well as building your database and nurturing your database. And I think this is one of the takeaways from that, where you want to, before you can wish somebody happy birthday, you first need to know when their birthdays are. And this is a great message for you to capture people's actual birthdays and create a birthday book. The thing is similar to what Facebook does, right? Like Facebook reminds people when it's people's birthdays and they go in there and you get all these birthday messages, not because all them people remember it was your birthday. It was because Facebook reminded them that today was your birthday. So that's how they know. Well, you can do the same thing, with your clients, with your friends, with your family. You create your own birthday book. And then now their birthdays, you can engage with them in some creative way to help you stand out to the people that are closest to you, to your world, right? And I think this right here is just an example of that message. You're trying to capture people's birthdays. This is a great message that you could send out to your entire database. And then they would just respond to you with their birthdays and you add them to your birthday book.
And we'll get copies of, if you all need the slides. Step 6, design your email. Your email will only be as good as its design. Okay, put together an easy to read, visually appealing email template. Right, consider using interactive elements in your email design and keep up with what's trending in the world of email to make sure your email design looks fresh. Okay, your email should be consistent with your brand visuals, identity, and all of the emails in your campaign should go together. So we're just touching on how the presentation of the newsletter of the email. Yeah. Your emails don't have to, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, in a lot of this particular step, we went in depth on last week in that training when it came to the design of flyers, because you're gonna follow pretty much the same guises and the same rules that we talked about last week when it comes to the design and how it visually looks, and to make it easy for people to understand the messaging that you're wanting to convey. So
So, and this next part is speaking in the sense of the consistency of it. Your emails don't have to match the rest of your marketing materials exactly, but the reader should be able to recognize that it's you based on the design. So maybe it's your color scheme, you know, maybe it's their, I mean, of course you want to have your logo, but just maybe you've come up with a creative format. But you'll see that even like Instagram, sometimes you'll see people who actually take the time to do the design layout on their page. So maybe that's some way that people will recognize them on the format. And lastly, use one of your signature colors, fonts, and make sure to include your logo and brand, which we touched on. Any questions about the design of your email? And like I said, the Constant Contact, MailChimp, and some of the others, they have templates that you can use to draw inspiration from when it comes to the format of your email. You know, maybe you don't know, you know, they give you a blank template, but you're just completely lost. You have no confidence when it comes to the layout of it. Don't be afraid to use those templates, and it makes it very easy where you can drag and drop a lot of times to just kind of place it if something just seems a little off for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And the one thing that I know Constant Contact does, Jess, I don't know if MailChimp does it, but I'm pretty sure it does. It'll allow you to take your newsletter campaigns or whatever you're sending out via the email, and it creates a link for you. And then you could actually take that link. And as we talk about text message marketing, like, you know, remember, everybody, you know, it's close to 100% open rate when it comes to text messages. If you want to get more open rate when it comes to your email campaign, you could actually text that link to your database as well. Make it easier for people to see what you emailed them. And then when they click on that link, it'll automatically open up that email newsletter or whatever you design. So that's another way to help enhance and increase your open rate and connect the text marketing with the email marketing.
Absolutely. The next step for you all, step 7, is test your emails. Okay. Proofreading, that's very important. Something that took me a while and still am, you know, constantly reminding myself, and something you as professionals, we just have to constantly remind ourselves to proofread and look over the things that we send out, or like have someone that can look over it for you, and maybe have someone that you can send it to. But sending a test copy of your email will help you catch errors before blasting your email out. Send a test to yourself, a trusted coworker, or others who are able to give you feedback. It's recommended to send to different email providers because emails may show up differently in each program. So it may go to their spam. But for example, send your test to folks who use Outlook, Gmail, and Yahoo. You also want to optimize your emails for deliverability, maximize the potential that they'll end up in the recipient's inbox rather than spam. So there may be some measures within your email provider that will offer you the ability to customize it to where it's not looking like spam. Or you may say in the body, hey, add me to your contacts, so that, you know, in the future, you receive these emails. So you can offer them instruction on how it is that they can effectively keep in touch with you and not just have the stuff that you're putting out sent to spam box.
Yeah, absolutely. And then it's also a great way, just it gives you a reason to call somebody, right? So if you've added, you know, we're real big on touches, right? The more touches that you can make, the better for your business. The more times that you can remind somebody that you do real estate, the more times that you can put yourself in a position to ask for business or make someone aware that you do real estate, it's going to be it's better for your business. So now if you've created this email campaign, you've got your audience, you loaded people in there, you may not know if your emails are going to spam or not. Now you can call them and say, hey, look, I added my email newsletter campaign. I'm just calling to verify that it's not going to your spam, right? Now, you know, again, it's a great opportunity for you to touch or connect with that individual. Now, where that conversation goes from there, but what it definitely did was it put you back on the forefront of their mind through that engagement, and you are able to possibly verify that it's not going in their spam. And if it was, they can go ahead and fix it at that moment. And then now, moving forward for this particular person, you ain't got to worry about, you know that they're going to be getting your stuff.
And that's important too. Looking at, I guess we talk about looking at the analytics to see, okay, are the emails bouncing? Maybe like Mr. David said, you can call them and verify that email, and then that can lead on to something. But it's also, you want to be able to clear, once you determine whether it's a good email or not, or good contact, if things get switched up, you want to clean up your database as well, because that affects your open rate. It affects those analytics when you're looking at them, and you want to make sure that you're being as effective as you can be.
Yeah, absolutely. And then again, with proofreading, because you don't want to send out information that has especially blatant errors. I know we're human and we make mistakes, but you want to kind of mitigate that as best as you can. And really, it is just a matter of just reading it over and over again, and before you press send. Read it the first time. You may redesign it again, read it the second time. Just be a little apprehensive before pressing that send button until you put your eyes on it on multiple occasions, or brought somebody else in to take a look at it as well, to get a fresh set of eyes. Maybe they'll catch something that you didn't catch because because you've been in it working on it so long. So yeah, definitely be intentional about the errors, because you just don't want people to be distracted, right? So if you've taken the time, you've done all the things that we've talked about here, you put in the work, you got a good design, but because of a simple text error, now the people are distracted because of this word is misspelled. Like you just want to alleviate that.
Opinions about the best time to send an email, but it depends on your target audience. Okay, there are some programs that will offer you the best time in which you can or should post. And you may even see that on like Facebook or Instagram, that they will say, well, when is your audience most active on social media? Next, you have think about when they're most likely to check their inbox, and make sure to account for different time zones. Choose the best time and test it against another time until you are confident that you've proved an optimal sending time for your audience.
So
this is
for this one, Jess, man, I just don't really feel like we've ever conquered it. Like I don't believe there's an optimal sending time. Like I just don't. Like I know we've tried it in the past to try to identify when is the best time, when are people checking emails, but I mean, because emails for most people go to their phones, people are checking them all the time. Like they're constantly, checking their emails. And sometimes you're taking a risk because you don't really know what kind of headspace a person is when they happen to go to their inbox, right? So they may overlook the email, not on purpose, but they just may have overlooked it because, unfortunately, a lot of people don't clean their email inboxes out. It becomes overwhelming for them. So they don't really, if they get maybe 50 emails in a day, they may look at them first 3, and then they don't look at the rest of them. And then the next 50 comes in, and now your email is getting pushed to the bottom of the inbox, and they're not cleaning it out. So I wouldn't spend a whole bunch of time trying to figure out the best time to send, and trying to figure that out. I just wouldn't. I think you based on your analytics, maybe you can make a correlation of when we send them out at this time, our open rate or our click-through rate is a little better. But I know when we've done it in the past, we've never really been able to make that correlation solely based on the time that we sent the email. So I wouldn't put a whole bunch of time on that.
I agree. I think that's the key. Like you said, don't spend a whole bunch of time, but you can put a little thought into it as far as like, when do you think it'd be optimal? I mean, I check it in the morning, so maybe my people check it in the morning, so I'm just gonna send it out in the morning.
Yeah.
That may be your approach. Okay. Any questions or comments when it comes to digital marketing and distribution of email and text messaging.
Well, let's show them, hey, Jess, go ahead and log into the constant contact so we can show them some of the campaigns that we've done, especially that newsletter. I definitely want to show them that. And then also maybe some examples of the broadcast text messages that we've sent out as well. And while we're pulling that up, yeah, you guys can definitely unmute and ask whatever questions you may have. So when it comes to the digital marketing, it's something that we're going to be very intentional about encouraging you all to have in place. Everybody needs to have a digital marketing. Y'all need to be utilizing digital marketing, period. Because as realtors and building a sales business, building a real estate business, you have to have something in place to where you're engaging your database on a consistent basis. And now with social media, you have the ability to create an audience. So you need to engage with your database and your audience on a consistent basis, and you need to have something in place. And the most effective way to do that is digitally, right? Think about, engaging with somebody on social media versus in the past, before social media, before the internet.
What did he say he wanted me to show?
Constant contact.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. But in the past, thinking about how people would engage with their databases without social media, without the internet, without email, they had mail, right? You got to put it in the mail them letters, something like that. Or they got to go knock on their doors, or, you know what I'm saying? Or make phone calls, right? That was the extent of what they had access to, but those were the tools that they used in essence to achieve the same result, which was stay top of mind, make it easier for the customer to be able to engage them when they had a need. Well, now we do have email, we do have social media. So now you want to use those tools because it allows you to be more efficient. And now you can engage more people, which ultimately will help you have a larger business, real estate business, than people in the past that didn't have those tools. So we're definitely, the expectation for all of you all is to have a digital marketing strategy between the coaching, right? Through the coaching, we can help with that, with these trainings, and we're giving information that way as well. Your mentors, like we have these layers of support to help you put it together, but you got to be intentional about wanting to do it and getting it done.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What about those who are not tech savvy?
Mm-hmm.
It sounds easy, but just getting all that stuff set up. Or do you just recommend utilizing the marketing companies?
Well, here's my.
Can we have a training? Can we have a training on getting all of this set up? Because I know HAR provides a lot of the marketing information that you talked about. We can get it from HAR.
Yeah. So here's my thought on that, Terry, and that's a great question. I'm glad you asked it. I think the issue that realtors have when it comes to marketing is not necessarily their understanding of the technology. I don't believe that that's the issue, because all technology is a tool. I believe that the issue is they don't have a strategy, right? So meaning that they don't have a plan of how they're going to utilize the technology for their marketing. So to your question, as we're going through all this digital marketing series, we are going to sum everything up by having a session that talks about strategy and putting together a sound strategy and how to use these tools that we're talking about inside of your marketing strategy. But the thing that holds everything together, Terry, is the strategy, which most people haven't sat down and put any thought to on an effective strategy on how they're going to market to people. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, we're going to have a training on that one.
One thing that helped me, Terry, is my daughter is helping me with the social media stuff. I mean, I'm trying to learn some of it myself, but I move very, very slow. So trying to get someone to help you with it is probably the best thing for you to do, to be honest.
Yeah.
I've
But-
tried that.
Right?
I've tried that.
Mhm.
And I mean, he's right. It is.
With this- I was saying I tried that with the teens, and nah,
Well, you
that
gotta pay
hasn't
him
worked.
something.
Because yes, I think I'm gonna just go with I'm gonna utilize a company. Just trying to utilize these kids, or that's a joke. That
Mhm.
hasn't worked.
Well, I
My
think
daughter just started a company. She's the one that's I hired. So if you want that information, I could give you her information. Just a little
Oh,
plug.
oh, please, thank you, please do so.
yeah.
I'll put my contact information in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then I know like Jess is, Jess is putting some things in place to where she wants to offer services to help you all in that space as well. Ain't that right, Jess?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm definitely putting some stuff to. Why are you laughing, Brenda?
I just saw your expression. That's all. It's like something
good.
else for me to do.
I've been working on that to be that a digital a tech tutor and digital marketing coach for you all. So I'm putting some things in place so that you all can be able to free up your time when it comes to your business and put that on those who are skilled in that area, like myself, who can help you set up, at least get a system set up to where you either know it or that it can be working for you automatically. So
Yeah. So Jess is, so that opportunity is there, Terry. I think it would be good if you and Jess connected on that vein as well. Because that's what Jess is building as far as in her business to be able to provide that service to the agents. Because we get it. Yeah, we get it, man. Like a lot of what we're talking about does take time and a lot of energy and effort. And at the end of the day, what I really would rather y'all be doing is out there selling, right? Working with buyers, working with sellers, doing those things. But we know that it's a critical piece because it's what contributes to you growing. It contributes to you being able to have people as possible to help put in the houses, sell houses or satisfy real estate needs. This thing that we're talking about right here is the thing that ensures that your coffers are full. But you don't necessarily have to do it yourself. Again, that strategy piece, because what I was going to say earlier, Terry, is that I hired a young lady. She's 19, she's young. But the reason that it works, because she handles my TikTok, gives me insight as it relates to that. The only way that it worked was that I brought her how I wanted to use TikTok in my strategy. Like I had already had how, like the strategy or the outcome that I wanted to achieve utilizing this particular platform. I was able to provide that information to her. And then now she was able to translate what I wanted into the language of TikTok to where it could be most attractive and get the most responses as it relates to that platform. So especially with the young people, it can't be, and I'm saying because I tried it that way in the past, it can't be, hey, I need help with Instagram, help me. Like it can't be that. It has to go with them, hey, this is what I'm looking to achieve. How do I do that using Instagram? Or how do I do that using TikTok? And then y'all work together on making that happen. Does that make sense?
Terry?
We lost?
Mm.
Okay, we'll get her back.
I can.
Oh, there she go.
There you go, Mike.
I can hear you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So sweet. So what Jess has pulled up, this is one of the campaigns within Constant Contact. Which one is this one, Jess?
I think it's the B&D. I didn't know which one you wanted to
B&D.
pull up.
No, it didn't matter. I did that one and then the Real Evolution, but we can start with B&D TV. This was something that we started doing this year. where we wanted to send out, I had in my vision was like a TV guide for the digital marketing, the digital series that we did on a weekly basis. All right, so here's an example of this email that we send out once a week, and we send it out to all of the people that we have, all of our different lists. So notice how if you look on the left, you see under this week on BND TV, Jazz, where it says list, click on show more. You see under list to the right. All the way to the right, click on show more. Next to register for a, and then show more. Go to the right just a little bit. Show more, click on that. All right, so these are all our lists that this email is going to, over 1,200 people. And the idea of this particular campaign, or the goal, right? We're talking about goals. The goals was to make people aware of these 3 different digital series that we do that's coming up for this week. So we designed it, we created a template. It was, fairly simple template where it's about plugging and playing. And then boom, we send it out, and it goes out every Monday. So I know LaShavia and Jess kind of work together to do this, but this is just an example of when we're talking about your goals, and then identifying. So with this email, what we're wanting people to do is we're wanting people to engage with us on those social media platforms. With the Real to Life podcast, we want people to be a guest, right? Mastermind through tough times, same thing, for them to engage, and we give them the links for them to engage. So now, let me ask you this, Jess, because you took part in this. What all did we have to think about? Like, what was our thought process like when we put together this particular email piece that goes out on a weekly basis? Are you muted?
Yeah, might want to undo. Okay, so the goal, definitely, what's the goal behind it? Like you said, is educating or letting others know what we have going on. So what exactly are these shows about? Putting a small description about what it is that each show offers. Being that it is something that's on a consistent basis, and that does change, interchanging those subject lines of not subject lines, but the titles of what is to come, so what should they expect for the next week.
Yeah.
And then your question was on what the thought process of what we put behind it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Now you're definitely answering it. And even in creating the template, the ease of being able to interchange the information so it didn't take so much time every week creating it.
Right. So it's just a simple replacement. So everything on the right can stay consistent because it's just giving a summary of what it is. But anything that would be changing over here off the left, it's just a click, change out the flyers, change out the subject line. Everything else can remain the same. So that's that consistency, and could be considered as that branding. Okay, we know this is BND TV, or this is their guide for the week.
Yeah. All right, good.
So
okay. Go ahead. What's your question?
You changed the colors of the headlines, I noticed, on each thing. Like the Realtor Life podcast, you use the color blue. Monday Night Live, Real Estate Call In, you use the color purple. And then Mastermind Through Tough Times, you use red. Is that just to identify between the 3 items?
Yeah, so as you can see in the flyer, it's consistent with the flyer. So usually when you think of Monday Night Live, you're going to see that fuchsia purple color. And for both of them with Mastermind, you have that yellow red theme.
And then, when you look at the email, so when a person opens this email up, we want it to be easy for them to quickly differentiate that these were 3 different sections, 3 different shows.
Mhm.
Yeah. So even how we did it with how we compartmentalized it with the lines in between each one,
Mhm.
you know, all of that was to the goal that we were trying to achieve was that when they opened the email, they could quickly see, oh, these are 3 different things.
Mhm.
And then they would go in there and then they could learn more about each different show.
Right.
So yeah, so this is something that we send out every Monday or every week. I don't know when we send it out, but every week it goes out and it lets pretty much our audience know what are the shows going to be about for this week that are coming.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then
Yeah,
as we grow our list,
questions.
oh, I was gonna say, and then as we add more people, so like when you look at our list, like we got people from Champions Real Estate School, we got people that registered for events, got people that just came from anywhere, people that came from Virtual Appointment Center. So as we're continuing out there, as we're continuing to do those things, visiting champions, having our Virtual Appointment Center call people, visiting through the Houston Black Real Estate Association, as we're continuing to do those things, we're continuing to add people to these lists. So now we're continuing to grow the audience of people
Mhm.
that get this email on a weekly basis.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, Jess, you want to show them the newsletter one? Anybody else have any questions about this particular example?
No.
No.
Okay, sweet. All right, Jess. Did we lose Jess?
Hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now. All right, can you go to the... I love Jess trying to come back. The
Yeah, I'm
newsletter.
here. I'm just looking for the re-evolution. It's not coming up under there. That's all.
No worries. You got it. It's all one word.
Yeah.
It's REAL.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Real evolution. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, there we go. Newsletter. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, so this is just an example of the newsletter they would send out. Hey, I know this was kind of old, Jess. See if we can find one that's more recent.
I can find. Let me see.
Because I know we still send it out.
Where do we find the analytics on a post that was sent out? Where do you get that information from?
You're talking about like in Constant Contact and the software that we're showing right here?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, how do I know?
There it is right there.
But how did you get that information? You just went to, you typed it in.
Reporting.
Reporting.
Yeah. Yeah. So for every email campaign, it'll have that reporting tab. And
Yeah, so unless you want to guide me as far as where you feel a recent one is.
okay.
That's
Here,
what
let
we're
me
looking
come.
at
Let me come in there.
from just putting the title in. But yes, you'll see it there, as well as when you're in Constant Contact, when you've done multiple campaigns, you can see it summarized here as well, of the amount of bounces and sends and opens.
Mhm.
Okay.
I've seen it before.
That's right. All right, up and running. You found it.
All right. All right. So this is the most recent newsletter. We sent it out in June of this year. All right. So click on show more just. All right. So notice how this one went out to all of
Here's
our
your
lists.
subject.
Yeah. So you see the subject, Texas first time buyers need a. So that's something that encourages people to open. And then it also speaks to the article, the title of the article that we're talking about for that month. And again, we've been doing this newsletter ever since the founding of Brooks and Davis. So for 13 years, we've been sending out this email once a month to the people in our databases. Let's see, scroll down some, Jess. Yeah, inside of there. There
What
we
do you
go.
want, the side or the inside?
The inside, so you can see the newsletter. Yeah. All right, so notice how we have the article. Click there to read more. So just like with the BND TV, doing it once a week, making it a plug and play type of situation, we send this out once a month. So it's just a matter of finding an article and putting that information in there. Scroll down on the inside, just. All right, then we've identifying a featured property that we can put in there. And then we have the adventures of Larry W. Brooks. And once a month, he compiles videos of everything that he does for that month. It's kind of like a segment. So we put that in there and then scroll. And then we have Prime Real Estate Network. right to purchase program, grandparents love some other thing, and then recommendations about books.
Mhm.
All right. And then information for them to engage with us on our YouTube channel. So all of that, and so this goes out to everybody in our database once a month, right? And this was the beginning of our email. Like this was the start when we first started with constant contact and email campaigns. Like this was the thing that we would send out. So it predates everything, and we're still doing it to this day, 13 years later.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's all we have. Any other questions or comments? All right. So this is going to. Oh, go ahead.
I do have a couple of questions, maybe not really, but I kind of logged in a little bit late, so I don't know if you guys talked about it or not, but I have pretty much set up the basis for everything that goes along with like an email signature or my CRM, or I already have social media sites that I've linked together in order to, do one post and they all link one after the other.
Integration.
Where would I, over the weekend, and we kind of talked about this in our one-to-one, but how do I continue to like move forward? I know as far as like, doing my touches, I know that's a priority of mine this week, but I want to continue to move forward with my base as well. But where would I be needing to I guess put more focus on now that all my bases have been set up and running? I have campaigns going on which are not fully completed, but those do take quite a bit of time. But what should I be focusing on as far as I guess marketing goes besides cold calling?
Yeah. So I think and I want everybody to understand this, as you build your business, the reason that it takes time is because you got to build it piece by piece, right? So from a marketing standpoint, when it comes to Brooks and Davis, even looking at it just solely digital, what we do on a digital marketing basis, it took time to get to this part, the extensive part of it. So to your question, Laura, is you have to now begin coming up with ideas of content, way that you can distribute content in a consistent way to continue to capture people's attention. For example, we started of those 3 shows, the first one that we started was the Mastermind, where really technically it was the Realtor Life podcast, but that evolved from something that I used to do called the Create Your New Life. So Create Your New Life was the very first digital show that we began doing. And the idea around Create Your New Life was to set up a digital platform where the agents and myself could engage, and I can engage with them. I could train, we could talk about upcoming events. So that was the original idea of the Create Your New Life. Then it went from Create Your New Life to Mastermind Through Tough Times, right? Well, the Mastermind Through Tough Times was something that we created during the pandemic when things started getting shut down, as a way we wanted it to be lighthearted, a show for people to engage. And again, all of this stuff was designed to attract, to capture people's attention and put in the forefront of people's minds that we do real estate. It was marketing. And so the Create Your New Life allowed us to engage on a weekly basis in-house. Mastermind Through Tough Times allowed us to engage on a weekly basis, social media wise. At first, we were only posting it to Facebook. We were only doing it on Facebook Live. But then we expanded it to YouTube Live. And then we got rid of Create Your New Life and that evolved into the Realtor Life podcast, which now became an opportunity. Now I'm speaking specifically from a recruiting standpoint. The Realtor Life podcast, being able to interview agents on a weekly basis, gave us an opportunity again to be entertaining and attractive to a wider audience, right? And then we created Monday Night Live, which was geared towards new agents that's having questions doing a call-in show. So now we end up with these 3 digital shows that we do on a weekly basis. Well, now we can take what we're already doing, and now we've created this email campaign with the BND TV weekly lineup. We've created this email campaign that now helps us expand not just the digital shows, but Brooks and Davis itself to a wider audience, because now we can send that email out to, say, the 12,000 people in our email campaign. Well, we could have the 12,000 people in our email campaign, but if we don't have anything like I just described, we're not doing we don't have any shows, we don't have any email, like we don't have anything, any content to send them that gives them a reason to pay attention and to continue to pay attention to what we're doing. So where you are right now is that you have your base, you have your infrastructure, you have everything connected. Well, now we have to start coming up with a reason for these people to pay attention to you and for you to engage with them on a consistent basis. Does that make sense?
But because it's so time consuming, as we all know, just getting on the phone, I'm also, a little challenged when it comes to IT stuff and internet stuff. But would it be better to, like, I guess everybody was commenting when I kind of logged on, to just get a person, a marketing person to facilitate some of these things? Because 20 touches a day, plus doing content, plus creating, plus designing. And I have, content too on my own, but it's just, again, time consuming to create. I'm not a flyer designer kind of person. So it takes, my energy and my time. So,
Well, let me clarify, because I don't want y'all to feel like what we're presenting today, like this stuff happened overnight. Like the idea, I'll just use the Realtor Life podcast as an example. The idea for the Realtor Life podcast took 6 months to launch. So when we're talking about creating content, I'm not saying do it and it's got to be out immediately, executed and launched immediately. Like that's not how it's going to materialize. What I'm saying is now, the 20 touches every day, you got to do that, got to reach out to people, got to engage people. That doesn't take creativity. But the stuff that requires creativity, that's going to take time. And what I'm saying is now open your minds and be intentional about thinking about and spending time thinking about, how do I want to now engage these people on a consistent basis? What kind of content can I put out to where it would entertain, or it would educate, or it would inform these people that are in my database, that are in my base, that I'm constantly adding to it? I want you to just start thinking about it, pull out your journals, start writing it down, and start coming up with a strategy. Yeah, to your question, should you hire somebody? Yeah, that's definitely hiring someone or bringing someone in to facilitate it is always a better idea, because although it's going to cost you money, it's saving you time. So you're redeeming your time that you can use for you to go out there and work with more buyers, work with more sellers, make more money. So that's always the better option. The thing is, don't do that if you don't have a strategy first, because when you bring those people in, you have to be able to articulate to them what you want them to do. Like they're not going to come in and come up with the strategy for you. And I don't want you all to think that. Like, I don't want you all to think you could just go hire a company and then they're going to come in and create the strategy, create your marketing strategy. of how you want to utilize these different tools to engage your audience and your database. Like they're not going to come up with it and they're not going to help you figure that out. Like they're not companies out there that do that. Now I'll help you come up with it. I'll help you figure it out. And once the strategy is done, then we can go to a company and we can let them know, hey, we're using these particular tools. This is the messaging. These are the goals that we want to achieve from these different tools. We need you to facilitate making this happen and giving us our outcomes. That's where a company comes in. But until we have a strategy and until we have clear goals that we're trying to achieve with these particular platforms that we're using, a company is not going to be able to help you yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So,
Thank you.
yeah. So it's definitely going to take time, and that's again, and I'm gonna keep pushing the coaching. That's where we do all of this stuff at. That's why at least once a week we got to be doing the coaching. We got to be coming up with strategy. We got to be putting it down on paper, creating our blueprint for us to go out there and execute on. And that's for everybody. All right. Well, good question. What else? What other questions we have? All right. Okay. So give me some feedback. How was this? Was this good content? Is this something that we need to continue to expand upon for you guys?
You mentioned that book last week that has the headlines in it for most of the, I guess, the flyers we may use or whatever. But should we also list the person's name that we use his book? You know, like I notice on some social media things that people actually use music in the background of their social media. They type in now, I am not the originator of this music or something like that. Should we give credits to the author or does it matter?
So for that particular book, he's providing a format.
Okay.
So it's not that he's the original creator of your headline. You're just using his format for the particular headline that you want to post. That makes sense. And then even then, he's not the original creator of those headlines because he pulled those headlines from other people's marketing pieces.
Okay.
So in that particular instance, I don't believe you need to give credit.
Okay.
Or there really is no credit to give because you're still coming up with the headlines. You're
Right.
just using his format.
Okay. So I love lions. I love lions. They're just so powerful. And I like to use those photos of lions, but we were trying to post something about a lion and being strong. We couldn't post it on Instagram. I just had to use it in my story. Is there another way of doing that or no?
You mean posting pictures of lions?
A lion, like it may say, it's a photo of a lion and he's walking and he's, and then there's a saying that goes with it. In order to be strong, you have to do this, that, or the other. Well, I wanted to post that on Instagram. Okay, but we're having problems doing that because that actually came from, I guess it came from Facebook or something, but just to post it on Instagram. Is there another way of doing that? Or I cannot post it on Instagram. I could just put it in my stories on Instagram because of copyright issues, I'm assuming.
Oh, so Instagram wouldn't let you upload the picture because of copyright infringement? Well,
actually, I uploaded the photo, but it went to my stories. It couldn't post. So I'm just wondering if we're doing something wrong. You know what I mean?
Well, I would need to, did Instagram give you a message? I would need to see what message that Instagram said when you tried to post it.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think they gave us a message, to be honest.
Yeah, because if you might have, what may have happened is that you posted it to your story instead of posting it as a post. You just pushed the wrong button on Instagram. That may have been a problem. That may have been the problem.
Well, that wasn't, because my daughter was doing it and we just could not figure out how to, post it on Instagram, So
Okay.
they said it
Well-
just went to the story. I don't know.
Yeah, well, without knowing the message that Instagram gave you, I wouldn't be able to answer that question for you, unfortunately.
Right, okay. Thank you anyway.
Okay. All right, what other questions? Everybody good? All right, how'd y'all feel about the content? Y'all feel like this is something that y'all can implement? Because again, we having a digital marketing strategy in place and working for your business is critical.
Mhm.
So is this helping you guys with that? I know we haven't did the strategy piece and we're going to do that at the end, but just getting familiar with what we're delivering. Are you finding value in it?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I think it's very valuable.
Okay, good,
It's
good,
just
good.
implementing it.
It's a lot. We know it's a lot.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, so we definitely want to utilize the coaching as a vehicle to help you all pull it all together. So let's do that as well. All right, well, if there's nothing else, Jess, you got anything else for the people? Any final words?
I'm muted, I'm sorry. Nope, I appreciate y'all coming in. Go out there and do some more research and put some of this stuff into play.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, you guys remember we have another event tomorrow, Home Partners of America. So there is going to be food. Is there going to be food? I keep saying it, but I never really verified it. LaShavia, is there going to be food tomorrow?
I believe it should
Yeah,
be.
I believe so.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so there's going to be food. So if you guys are, y'all not too far from the office, come to the office, come get some good grub. Home Partners of America, that's great content. Laura, we talked about that earlier, coming up with content that you could present to your people. Well, their program and what they're able to provide and offer is great content that you could expose people to help you pick up some business. So they're going to be coming tomorrow at 12 o'clock, talking about their program and their product. So definitely take advantage of that. We have the career night. So if you have some people that are looking at making a change when it comes to their brokerage firm, or they're looking to get into real estate, I'm going to be there tomorrow at 5 o'clock for our career night. I know Laverne's in there as well, so I know she's spreading the word to a bunch of people. You guys spread the word as well. Put it on your social media. That's, again, good content for you all to utilize. If y'all go to my @CEO Coach Mike Instagram and the Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm Business Facebook page, that's where we're always posting digital content on those platforms. Y'all can take that content and y'all can repost it on yours. So that's something else that you all can utilize. Yeah, if you're on IG, go ahead and get those posts that we posted at CEO Coach Mike about the career night, and send that out to your people as well. Because remember, you refer somebody, they sign up with Brooks and Davis, you get that 5%. Get that 5% override, make that mailbox money, what I'm saying. All right, so we're doing that on Thursday. And then finally, the family reunion. Like, I want to see everybody at the family reunion on July 31st. It's going to be a fun time. We want it to be a huge event like our holiday party. So every year we're going to have two huge events. One's going to be the holiday party in December, and one's going to be the family reunion in the summertime, which is for the family. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your kids. But make sure you tell your clients, right? Again, the reason that we do these events is because we want to give you all a reason to reach out to your clients, reach out to your database, and invite them to something that's not necessarily on your dime. So July 31st, we're having that. We're also looking for vendors. So if you know anybody that would be interested in having a vendors table, I think they're still $97. I don't know, Shay, do you want to speak to the fan reunion?
You got it. They're still $97.
All right, so we need some vendors. Shay, we're gonna have a DJ. Is it gonna be music there?
There's gonna be music there. We can't have a DJ, unfortunately.
Oh, El Franco Lee
We'll
Trick.
have music. Well, it's because most of the DJs require generators and they don't want to buy generators just to provide us music.
I got you. All right, well, we're gonna have a really good time. So make sure you all are there. If you know of any vendors, mortgage, people that you do business with, ADT, or whatever, they can sell jewelry, whatever. If they want to have a vendor table so they can promote to the people that are going to come to our family reunion, let us know like yesterday, because we are running out of availability and we want to make sure that we can get everybody in there. But with that being said, that's all I have. I look forward to seeing everybody tomorrow if you're available.
All right.
All right.
So
Talk to
have a
y'all
great
later.
one, everybody.
Thank
Take
you
care.
very much and have a blessed evening.
You too.
You as well. Everyone.